Hey you guys, what's going on? It's Teenage Knight, and this video is for stats, awards, and stuff like that. I've decided to make this a whole separate video because I have a feeling it's going to be fairly long. I'm not really sure yet. This is one of the very few Madden live comms that I'll do. But first, I'm going to show you the standings so you can see how the NFL did and how your team finished out, in case you didn't get to see it in the divisional round game. But here it is. The Redskins go 11-5. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. And I know I showed this in the divisional round playoff video, but I decided to show it again just in case you didn't see that one and you're just now watching this. But as you saw, the Giants went 1-15 and they will have the first overall pick. So the NFC East had the #1 seed and the very worst possible team. And there's those. Now the next thing we're going to do is, I have not looked to see who we are playing yet in the Super Bowl. So we're going to see who that is right now. We're going to go to schedule. And here it is. Who are we playing in Super Bowl 49? Okay, so that's preseason conference. Baltimore lost to Denver 20-30. So, in the Super Bowl, it will be the Broncos and the Philadelphia Eagles. I like it. In case you didn't watch since episode 1 was me explaining that I skipped an entire year, so that's why it's Super Bowl 49. I simulated the first season. And the Broncos, behind the arm of Peyton Manning, won the Super Bowl. This time they are going to the Super Bowl behind the arm of Brock Osweiler. So that's interesting. They went like 8-7-1. So, alright. Now we will go to league stats, and we will see how the NFL fared in stats this year. And then we'll go look at awards. Well, there's our passing stats. One thing is, next year, I don't know if I'm going to have to edit some sliders or what, but I am going to change something to where it's a little bit more realistic stats. I know that's almost 500 attempts. So, had he played every game all year, he probably could have been a little bit more realistic on stat-wise. But, yeah, that's something that I really want to work on. And here it is, the rushing stats. He played only a few games. He played in a total of 4 games and had 850 rushing yards. So he played incredible replacing him. So that was pretty good. 14 touchdowns, over 1,600 yards, 6 touchdowns, 850 yards. Barkley had 2 rushing touchdowns. Nick Foles had a rushing touchdown. Bryce Brown did not actually have a rushing touchdown on the year. Now we'll go to receiving. This stat is something I really want to work on. I don't think these are really that realistic. 50 catches, 45 catches, 42 catches, and then all the way to 26. So next year I'll probably be passing the ball a little bit more, trying to get a little bit more realistic stats. So we'll have to see how that goes. Deshaun led the team in touchdowns with 9. Yeah, there's that. Now we will go to blocking. And this stat was what I was really impressed about. They allowed very little sacks this year. And in pancake blocks, 32, 32, 28, 16, 16. So that's pretty good. Defense stats. These to me did not come out incredibly realistic either, with the amount of tackles that we got. He almost had 100, but on sacks wise, who led the team? Connor Barwin, right above Trent Cole, only by 1. Interceptions, we already know who this is. Brandon Boykin with 11 on the year. Bradley Fletcher with 4. Ty Zimmerman with 2. And Zimmerman only played in like the last 6 games or so, so he did pretty well. Curtis Marsh, 2. Earl Wolf. I've been calling him Eric Wolf all year. Kerry Williams 2, Patrick Chung with 1, Chris Davis with 1, and D'Amico Ryans had 1. I don't remember D'Amico Ryans intercepting it, but okay. We'll go to kicking just to look at this. 47 for 49 on field goals made and attempted. I don't know the record for most field goals attempted in a season, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be close to that, I would assume. Kick return wise, the only one to return a kick for a touchdown this year on our team was Deshaun. So there's that. Punt return touchdowns. I think the only one there was Ted Ginn. So yeah, everyone else, like Deshaun had 1 punt return attempt, Brad Smith had 1, and McCluster had 1. But Ginn, he did fairly well. And now we will go look at NFL stats. Who led the NFL and everything is really what we're looking at here. Yards. The NFL passing leader in yards is Brock Osweiler with 4,512. Behind him is Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford. So, if we can beat Brock Osweiler in the Super Bowl, which I obviously have not played up to this point, we will have taken down the top 3 passing leaders in the NFL. So that's pretty cool. Tom Brady, Andrew Luck, Joe Flacco, Roethlisberger, Cutler, Russell Wilson. Just kind of showing you where your teams stand. Touchdowns was Aaron Rodgers with 30, and we beat him. We have not played him yet. We beat him. So 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL we've beaten in the playoffs. So that's impressive. And the NFL league leader in throwing interceptions is Tom Brady with 24, then Jay Cutler with 21, Jake Locker with 21, Terrell Pryor with 20, Eli Manning with 20, Phillip Rivers with 20, Stafford with 19, Kaepernick with 19. Do we have anything else really here? Who got sacked the most this year? Jimmy Clausen, 87 times. Glennon, 82. Brandon Weeden, 53. Osweiler, 51. Where is our... Where are we? There it is. Our starting quarterback was only sacked 13 times. And... let's see if we can find Nick Foles, 8. So that adds up to 21. And... So yeah, we only had 21 sacks on the entire year. That's, to me, pretty good. Completion percentage, who led the NFL on that? Doesn't really matter. Can we please move down to a starter? Aaron Rodgers, we'll say he did. Alright. Yards per game. Probably Osweiler. Should have expected that. Rushing yards. The NFL league leader in rushing yards is Adrian Peterson. Not really a shocker. LaShawn McCoy did have that on lockdown until he got injured those last 2 weeks. He was leading the NFL in rushing every week up until those last 2 weeks. And then all 3 of these guys passed him. Forte only beat him by a yard. So now who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns? That would be LaShawn McCoy with 14, even after missing 4 or 5 games on the year. So if he can stay healthy next year, I'm pretty excited to see what we can do with him. Fumbles. Who had the most fumbles this year? That's always a fun stat. Trent Richardson, 7. Oh, one thing that I do want to work on with LaShawn McCoy next year that it really bugged me. He only had 5 broken tackles. That is not acceptable at all. So we needed to come up with something there. His longest run was 64. Who had the longest run of the year? Below Powell for the Jets. Receiving yards. Let's go there. No, go over here. The league leader in receiving yards was Wes Welker, followed by Calvin Johnson. Antonio Brown had over 1,500 yards. That's kind of a shocker. AJ Green, 1,700 yards. Yeah, we need to actually go to this. I don't know what in the world I was sorting it by. AJ Green, 1,700. Antonio Brown, over 1,500. Reggie Wayne had 1,500 yards. Randall Cobb with 1,200. Dwayne Bowe with 1,200. Roddy White with 1,200. Torrey Smith with 1,200. We had a lot of 1,200 receivers. Touchdowns, who led the NFL? Calvin Johnson with 16. Randall Cobb, 14. Wes Welker, 12. Really, like, league leader in yak? Wes Welker, 878. Alright. Now we will head over to blocking. Who had the most pancake blocks? 32, 32, 28, 16, 16. Our entire offensive line led that. That may be a slider I have to screw around with a little bit to get more realistic stats, but whatever. Sack, who led the NFL? Geno Atkins had 27 sacks. Kind of happy I didn't play the Jaguars this year. Lamar Woodley, 18. Clay Matthews, 17. Robert Mathis. Thaddeus Gibson. Interceptions. Here we go. 11 by Brandon Boykin. He led the NFL. Jarius Byrd, 8. Patrick Peterson, 8. Richard Sherman, 8. And Louis Delmas, 8. Interception yards. Who led the NFL in that? Patrick Peterson. He had 311. Interception long. Brandon Boykin, 101-yard return. If I remember correctly, that was either week 1 or whenever we played the Redskins. I'm not really sure. Pass deflections. 9 led the NFL. I'm not really sure if that's good or bad. Catches allowed. Another thing is, yeah, Boykin apparently allowed no catches on the year, which to me is pretty impressive. Neither did Bradley Fletcher, so no one allowed any catches on the year apparently for us. Some of these stats are really glitched out, obviously. Fumble recoveries. Brian Cushing with 3. Fumble yards. Bradley Fletcher with 18 led the NFL. See, I know that's broken. I know for a fact that that fumble return yards is broken because whenever we were playing like the Jets, I think someone had at least a 50-yard fumble return on us. So that one's broken. Blocked kicks. Yeah, no one cares. Any safeties this year in the NFL? No. Okay. NFL league leader in touchdowns. Luis Delmas with 5. Patrick Peterson, 4. Yeah, some of these stats are just seriously broken, it seems like. And, we'll go look at kicking just because. Yeah, he's tied with Stephen Hauschka for best field goal percentage. Alright, now we will go look at the Pro Bowl votes. And that might be the end of the video. And we'll look at the other awards too. So, god dang it, voice cracks. I just did like an hour and a half of Pokemon commentary, so my voice is pretty dry. My throat's pretty dry, my voice is dry, whatever. Yearly awards. The MVP is Aaron Rodgers, followed by Brock Osweiler, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, LaShawn McCoy. Wow. LaShawn. Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Barkley, Joe Flacco, and Geno Atkins. I'm actually just surprised Matt Barkley made the list. Wait, yeah, I need to look at one other thing there. Coach of the Year. Chip Kelly better have won that. He went from 6-10 to 14-2. Mike McCarthy and Chip Kelly. It doesn't matter because we beat the MVP and Coach of the Year apparently. Even though I would probably given it to Chip Kelly because he turned 6-10 to 14-2. Pro Bowl voting. Just gonna scroll through these real quick. You can see your favorite teams and players for the AFC because I really don't care who made it in the AFC. One thing that kind of made me mad this year is you can't play the Pro Bowl because that used to be one of my favorite features was to sit down and play the Pro Bowl with all the best in the NFL. Alright, yeah. I probably scrolled way too fast past those, but oh well. Now we will count how many Pro Bowlers we have. Matt Barkley made it, so that's 1. LaShawn McCoy makes 2. Ted Ginn makes 3. Deshaun didn't make it, which shocked me. Ted Ginn makes it 3 Eagles. Jason Peters, 4 Eagles. Evan Mathis, 5 Eagles. Jason Kelsey, 6 Eagles. Todd Harriman, 7 Eagles. And Lane Johnson, 8 Eagles. So our entire offensive line is going to start the Pro Bowl. That's ridiculous. 8 Eagles players from the offense made it alone. Connor Barwin makes 9 Eagles. Brandon Boykin makes 10 Eagles. And they gave the kicking thing to Stephen Hauschka instead of Dan Carpenter. So we had 10 Pro Bowlers on this team. 8 coming from the offense, and then Connor Barwin and Brandon Boykin on defense. That's pretty good. I'd say that's a fairly good year. 14-2, we're headed to the Super Bowl. And now I will advance the week so you can see that we are actually going into the Super Bowl now. And I'm actually kind of excited to play this game. I think it's going to be kind of a tough challenge because it is like the NFL passing leader, and the receivers tend to play pretty good. But there it is. The Broncos versus the Eagles in Super Bowl 49. And I'm going to end this on a voice crack. So, hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned. Super Bowl video should be out. I'm not going to make any promises. Somewhere between tomorrow and in like 3 to 4 days. I'm not making any promises. I don't even know when I'm going to play this game. But hopefully you enjoyed. And this is Teenage Night. And I'm out.